Okay, I don't have a gavel, but the pen will have to work. It's 1:30, so it's time to begin the board meetings of Civil Service Merit Board, March 12th. Let's call the meeting to order. First, we'll go ahead and take the roll for the record. Jane Roberts, Cynthia Durrow, Stephanie Taylor, present. Scott Schimmel, present. And I'm Bill Lyons, and I'm present. The first item is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held on Wednesday, February 12th.
Motion.
Okay. Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Minutes are approved. Okay, Anderson, do we have any report regarding litigation?
We do not.
Okay.
Nothing to report this morning.
Okay, thank you. So we'll then go to the Civil Service staff report by Ms. Bradshaw.
Yeah, good afternoon. I've done our what's now standard, I think, handouts here. So I don't want to necessarily belabor anything, but I'll just so you guys know the posting stats is this sort of 3-page packet on the legal size paper. This outlines all the postings and requisitions that we've processed since I started in October. This just shows the flow of what was requested, the department, the dates involved for all the various stages, and then we've got when the applicant's selected, and then we have some stats there at the end to sort of show the timeline. So that's just this is the latest version of the one I gave you last month, but as an FYI, if there's any questions about any of it, I'm happy to answer any. The next one is the posting stats. That's the one with mine's in blue, but it's a single pager here. This shows the written exams. Of course, every civil service job has a test of some kind, but they're not always a written exam. This shows the written examinations that we have administered since October. So yeah, it's just the same as last month, but the column with the number of applicants we had who met minimum qualifications. Your first set of numbers, the number that actually scheduled an exam, they responded to our exam appointment email and scheduled an exam, and then the number that actually showed up, actually did test, and then our percentages there. So then you'll notice the e-skill, a few of those more recent postings, that's the online testing platform that we've been trying to use a little more frequently. Response rate does seem to trend a little bit better for those jobs. So those are some low sample size issues, but I think it's promising. And as we continue to do more, hope to use that online platform on some bigger jobs and have even better response rates. And ultimately, better and more qualified applicants for our departments as they interview people. That's the goal. So some good stats there on that sheet, which I called the testing stats. The latest budget review is this 6-pager here, the regular size paper. Same as last month again, not a ton of interest to report here. The first section, which goes all the way to nearly the end of the second page, is our personnel category. So you can see there at the total salaries and wages line item, we've used about 67% of our funds so far this year. It's a little ahead of where we'd like to be, not a lot. But this is a category we don't have a ton of control over. We can't go in and move those necessarily. The next category, which begins with office supplies, operating supplies, that goes through the bottom of page 2 to about the middle of page 3. Doing very good in that category. Of course, it's not big numbers we're talking about here, but got about $7,400. We've spent about $2,700. We've still got, I think I'm going to buy Teresa a chair out of our little furniture line item. Just her chair's back. We'll spend some of that on that, but I know she's going to be really happy about that. Again, we're low dollars in that category. And then the next one, which is our office services, is probably our biggest discretionary line item. Not a ton to report really. You go all the way to the bottom of that, which is at the end of page 5. We've spent about 63% in this category, which is about where we want to be this time of year. Obviously, we're going to be hitting three-quarter mark, I guess, at the end of March. So our goal would be to be 75% or less by the end of March. So we're well on track to stay under budget, which is good. But there's a few other things coming down the pipe we want to spend on. That's a quick rundown of the budget for everyone. Not terribly exciting, but we've been doing some things.
We don't necessarily need exciting.
Amen to that. I'm all into no drama for sure. I want to mention the progress. I know I've been talking about some of our modernization initiatives the last few months. At the most recent city council meeting, there was a budget amendment which we were included on. It was a big budget amendment. A lot of departments were affected, and the headliner was the K Street Bridge thing you guys may have seen. We were, we're like item 47B or something. We're at the very bottom of this big budget amendment for everybody else. But we did get $25,000 for civil service to use towards some of our recruiting efforts, things like sponsored postings on Indeed and LinkedIn. I've mentioned this to you guys before because we proposed it a long time ago, but it just got approved, so that's official. We're also going to move forward as a part of that $25,000. Part of it was for digitization of a lot of our records, mostly old board minutes and supporting documents for prior board meetings going back to the 19-teens. But I think the stuff from the 80s, 90s, 2000s would be really helpful. It's all in my office in books right now, which is great, but it's not very accessible. So we got the funding to do that. We're working on that project, and we're also doing. Also got enough money in that to revisit our testing contract to get more of the e-skill licenses to do more online testing. We talked about all that before, but I wanted to make sure we close the loop on that because the budget amendment was finally approved at this last council meeting, and that is approved, and we're moving forward on all those initiatives. So good stuff. The rules review and update project is still going forward. I don't necessarily have a timetable at this time. I've had a number of conversations with Devin on this project. Talked to him this morning, actually. He's working hard on it, and it's a big project, as you all know, but it is proceeding apace. Outreach events. We had a great event for KFD at the end of February. We had it was at the Expo Center. They coincided with the posting of the firefighter recruit position. We ended up having, I think, the whole staff except for maybe one person stayed behind and ran the office, and everybody else was at the event. We had 16 laptops going at once, and they were all full of applicants at this event. It was well attended. It was a very good event, successful. So good stuff on that. I want to keep doing that sort of thing. Outside legal counsel, if you guys recall, last month we opted to proceed with a RFQ process, which we have requisitioned, and we're working with purchasing going forward to get that. They will get that RFQ published, and then we'll come back with some bids or qualifications for outside counsel for the board review on that. Hopefully soon. I did speak to Mike Winchester recently. He is still listed as the attorney of record on at least 2 cases that are in Chancery Court. So this highlights the need to move forward with a new outside counsel to represent the board. So that is a process we're working with purchasing on that RFQ process. We're very deep, along with HR benefits and others, with the new Oracle platform. Working with a company called High Street. I think some people call it the Fusion migration. That does sound cool, but it's anyway. The project's ongoing. There's a lot of design meetings right now. Our staff, myself, Melissa Foster, and Laura Peck are participating in these meetings. Since Missy and Laura attend a lot more than I do. I'm going to as many as I can as we design this new system to make sure it's going to work better for the city to accept applications and be a little friendlier technologically than it is now, which is not a high bar, but I think it's going to be a good system. It's very intensive work right now, several hours a week of meeting with the vendor and with IT and HR benefits and others. So it's a big project, still ongoing, really heavy right now. And then last item I had on the report I wanted to share is the posting for my successor closed last week on Friday, and we ended up with 81 applicants, resumes, so that's a lot. So we'll have a selection committee, I'll have a fun time going through those, and but the job is closed. We did get a very good response, and now some of the hard work begins on that next step of the process. That was really good in terms of things I prepared to speak about today, but happy to answer any questions about anything.
One quick question about the budget. I think I asked you this after last meeting. I think maybe you said it was just an oversight by annual leave. Wasn't budgeted this year?
I don't know why they do that. That's a
Is it never budgeted?
It's all the reports show this. Everybody obviously uses it, but that's an inside baseball thing that I don't even know. I do not know the answer to that.
But that's just always the way it looks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, obviously everyone uses annual leave in every department, but and I read these same reports in Fleet obviously on a regular basis, and it's unusual. We have very little discretion on this first category. All the personnel expenses. It's not one that, if I have an issue with the second category, for example, office supplies or furniture or whatever, I can usually send an email to the analyst and say, can we move some from one line out of the other? That's not necessarily the case with stuff in the first category. They really don't touch that.
Okay, thank you. And next, HR, I think Kelly is not able to be here today, but I believe she is right here.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Some of you may be used to seeing me as your former law department staff attorney. I'm proud to have been succeeded in that role by Anderson, and so I'm here as the Deputy Director of Human Resources. Dr. Drummond sends her best from Thailand right now, where she's on vacation. So, as any good deputy should, I am deputizing at the moment. So, let's see. On your agenda, you see 4 main points. I'm going to go into each one in a little bit of detail. The first one is our operating model. It's kind of an inside baseball way of saying how the HR department is structured and how we divide up work. In the past, we were divided on a strictly departmental level, so we had one employee who was assigned to a certain number of departments, and they handled basically the full waterfront of issues that arose from that department. What we found over time is that the nature of HR is obviously changing. It's different than it was when that model was first implemented at the city. And to have more of an impact in the areas, especially where managers and directors need more support, we needed to reorganize a little bit to change our workflow. So Dr. Drummond mentioned last month a couple of pieces of that. One team is our HR operations team. That's Michelle Black. If you know Michelle, you know she's been the backbone of the city's personnel system in a big capacity for a long time. She's still in charge of the administrative, the transactional aspect of what HR does, making sure promotions get processed and hiring paperwork gets appropriately handled, all that. The second piece is HR consulting. That's our term for what the larger HR industry calls a business partner. Some may be familiar with that term already. That's Mary Margaret Murray, the lead for that team. She's back behind the pillar there, at least from where I'm standing. And her role and her team's role is to integrate with departments, with managers on their strategic talent needs, their organizational needs, and then also leadership, developing leadership in the city. So, and then the third piece, and really the reason for recapping all this, our third team is a team of 1 at the moment. Katrina Neuenschwander is our new hire as our HR data analytics lead. Kelly announced that we were doing this previously, but at the time of last month's meeting, Katrina had not officially joined the department. So I wanted to make sure to introduce her to you all. She's a 9-year city employee. She's working on a whole variety of projects related to data. We have lots of it, but we don't make a great use of it at the moment. Part of that is based on software tools. Nick mentioned the Fusion migration. That will help with that. And then once that's in place, we're looking at things like trend analysis, on-demand reporting, decision support tools to help directors and other managers make good data-informed decisions, and then eventually maybe even some predictive analysis. So we can identify where there are positive or negative trends happening in the city, maybe before other sources of information would even indicate that. So Katrina's got a great background. She's certified by Google in data analytics. And you know, as far as data analytics go, Google's probably the name you know. So we're really happy to have her on board. She's made a huge impact already, and we're just getting started. So
Thank you so much, George, and I look forward to working with everyone going forward.
Switching to bullet number 2, admin rules. 2 updates to share since the last merit board meeting. Both of these are effective back to January 1. The first update is an increase in the tuition reimbursement program. Previously, we reimbursed up to $3,000 for eligible employees who were taking eligible courses. We've raised that now to the maximum that we can, which is $5,250 per eligible employee per fiscal year. And we've also broadened the range of courses that's eligible for tuition reimbursement. So more money and more choices in brief. And then also our colleagues in employee benefits worked on an update to the paid parental leave rule that increased the amount of paid parental leave available to employees and also improved the bereavement leave in the case of immediate family members when there's a need to take that kind of leave. So 2 really positive updates on the admin rules. Third on the list is recruiting and talent acquisition. Nick mentioned one already, the KFD Career Expo. By our count, we had 200 attendees there, and about half filled out job applications, so I want to share those stats. And then in addition, the police department had graduation since your last meeting. The academy produced 12 new officers from that. The fire department also had an academy graduation, 14 new firefighters from that one. We've got our second annual citywide job fair coming up on the 26th, and civil service is going to be helping make sure on-site application capabilities are available there as well. And then just looking back over the last several weeks, couple months, it looks like HR has participated in about 6 other job fairs or other similar events, some that have included engagement with as many as 150 people at a time. So I appreciate the team being here. I appreciate the board being so supportive of those efforts. Last but certainly not least is training. Leah is here. She's our training lead in HR. She conducted an excellent supervisor training last week, focused on employee engagement. She tells me 33 folks attended from 11 different departments, offices across the city. So good turnout and good feedback from the satisfaction surveys that we did attend that as well. So that's my staff report. To avoid having to wake Kelly up in Thailand with a 12-hour time difference, but I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to new business, item 5 is a request by KPD to exempt 3 additional police assistant chief positions. So why don't we get a little hear about those and then we'll look for a motion and vote after that.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Lyons. So I want to be clear, first of all, we're not looking to add any positions here at KPD. We're not looking to change any of the titles that exist in the structure that we have. There'll still only be 1 second in charge, that'll be Chief Powell, and then we'll still have our 3 bureau chiefs and our chief of professional standards with Judge Guyton. So what we're looking to do here is, our executive staff, I really feel our executive staff should be treated like assistant directors, right? And if you remember, some of you guys were on the board back in 2022 when I came on, the deputy chief position was a civil service protected position, basically a lifetime appointment like a Supreme Justice, so to speak, Supreme Court Justice, so to speak. And I asked civil service as I was coming on as a new chief to remove those deputy chiefs from civil service, which we did, but they're still kind of treated like a lifetime, civil service employee. So we're asking for this change to give me more flexibility. This is purely administrative change, and this really came to light when we hired Judge Guyton as a chief of professional standards. So Judge Guyton was a 20-year labor lawyer, a 20-year federal judge, retired. I don't want to reveal his age, but he's been around for a long time. And then coming on as a new KPD employee, he earned the same number of leave days as an 18-year-old cadet. And really, that's not how this would work in the private sector. If you were bringing on a retired federal judge as a law partner, you wouldn't say, look, we'd great to have you on as a law partner, judge, but guess what? You get 9 days of leave for the year, and you can't use your leave for this amount of time. So what I'm really asking for is to be able to change that so we could convert these to assistant chiefs to give me more flexibility. We're bringing on another outsider as a deputy chief. Joe McHale is coming on board. He's been in the profession 34 years. He's been in this profession. But if I'm not able to move him into an assistant chief position, he will start with the same leave as an 18-year-old cadet. A 25-year-old police officer that's been around as a cadet will earn a lot more leave than Chief McHale. So again, I'm not looking to add any positions. What I'm looking to do is convert my deputy chiefs into assistant chiefs, keep the same structure. I've spoken to the mayor about this, Chief of Staff David Brace, HR, finance, everybody supports this, and I really do appreciate your support.
Well, do you have anything to add, Nick?
Yeah, I just want to say that Chief and his team have worked with the board staff on this proposal, and just as a reminder, at present, they have 1 exempt assistant chief and 4 exempt deputy chiefs. So I think he's not talking about adding force, just sort of shifting. But we were, and staff was in full agreement with the proposal as well as the administration.
We have any discussion?
Well, I'll just say that I think this is an excellent request for the kind of management flexibility that anybody needs in heading a large department, and certainly under your very well-grounded in your reasons for this, so I'm very favorably inclined.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess we're looking for no more discussion, we're looking for a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. And the request is approved. Okay, item number 6 is a request by Knoxville Fire Department to schedule a hearing for the purpose of amending Rule 1303. So this one we are kind of backing up a little from this and having a little discussion. I'll be glad to been filled on this, or you can give a little background, Nick, if you'd like to.
Sure. Yeah, so the memo, I believe, is in your agenda packet that was sent by Chief Sharp on the 20th of February. There's a 10-day requirement on rule hearings, as you guys know, in terms of public hearings, so we did not have time to vet the request and then do a hearing. So we just included a memo as a discussion point topic today, and the job is currently posted, firefighter recruit. We run a bit of a time crunch because of the aforementioned job fair. So we were really trying to get that job posted before, I think we got it the day before the fair was scheduled. So that way we were able to get a bunch of applicants in. This is an issue, and I think Assistant Chief Calloway, if you have any specific questions about fire's recruiting campaign or their goal of this is really just about folks who are about to graduate high school but haven't graduated yet. And that have to do with that minimum. But I know we've had a lot of conversations about how to help them get there, and that's the immediate background. I don't know if you want Chief Calloway to speak to that.
Yeah, I can mention one thing and then what Chief Calloway too. I think this all boils down to one item. The test, the rule we have in place right now would have somebody indicate that they are already high school graduate ready when they fill out the application, and these people are still in high school. And so we were looking to either do a rule change or just eliminate the rule as needed. And right now we have a problem in that the application itself throws out the person from the process if they indicated they haven't yet graduated from high school. So it puts fire department in a bad situation, recruiting people to apply, and then when they apply, having them tossed out of the system. That's not good for anybody. So would you like to basically explain that from fire department's point of view?
Good afternoon, I'm Assistant Chief Scott Calloway. Chief Sharp sends his apologies at a previous engagement today. Situation at hand for us is recruiting. We have not been at full staff as a department in several years. The way our academies line up, we usually start in the fall, which puts our testing right before high school seniors graduate. So when they graduate, they're going to have to wait another 12 months before they can start to participate in the process. So we're requesting them to be allowed to be a resource pool for us, that they can participate in the process, and no official job offer until they have diploma in hand.
I think we're all in agreement, that's a logical way to conduct this, and right now, we took that a few glitches in the way of letting folks who haven't yet graduated go ahead and apply. So what we're looking for is ways to ameliorate that, and one is fixing the application. I think any action we take would have to be in April to fix the rule to allow you to get the applications in so they can be in the academy. Basically what we want to do.
If I could, I think Anderson or George may also want to have something to say as well, but this rule is under evaluation right now, and I think we will have a proposal at some point in the near future on as part of our comprehensive review. I mean, I'd love to do something, if the board was open to it, at the April meeting to satisfy fire. But this particular Rule 1303 has broader implications for, I know for police especially, we've talked about it, as well as other departments in the city. I think it's a rule in our book. We definitely want to look at it, but I think in terms of finding something for fire, I'd love to work through that with our outside counsel on the rule project, Devin, and then in law, and I'd love to have something at the next meeting to actually vote on. But I don't know if you guys want to.
Well, let me ask you, we have the capacity to waive the application rule as a board.
That's my understanding.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's always an action that we can consider. But whenever we're really looking to have enough notice and enough background work where we can address this at next month's meeting, which would allow, not get in the way of the folks who graduate entering the academy. And Anderson, would you like to explain?
Oh, yeah, that's correct. We would suggest that you use the waiver process with this rule in April. And then I know Devin is working on a permanent fix that will be applicable to our different departments. And then that would take care of this recurring issue once and for all.
I think that'd be ideal if we could do that for everyone. I mean, in terms of merit principles, you know, I don't see anything at stake here in terms of we're trying to get more applicants and trying to get folks in. The academy's not going to start until
October the 20th.
Yeah.
We're currently 13 firefighters short, and projected by the end of the year to be
Right.
at least 25 short.
You know, it's not a huge population, but there is a population of pending high school graduates who will be graduated long before the academy.
Correct.
If they still have plenty of time to go through all the pre-employment.
The key is, once they enter into city employment, they're high school graduates.
Absolutely.
That's the key. I mean, it's of no concern having anything with merit principles that they're a graduate, that certification take place any sooner than that. Anyway, this is an artifact of what we have in there, and we're going to have to deal with it with everybody, but we do have the capacity to waive it to make sure we don't get in the way of something that's very important, which is getting this academy and KPD Academy and any other city employees, you know, in general government taken care of without kind of an artificial barrier. So I applaud you addressing all this, and thank you for your patience.
So like the current job posting, what's the date on that when it closes?
It's 26.
Was it for March?
27.
Okay. So that's the
we-
other
we-
point is
Well, isn't
it's
another?
already active and open.
That's right, and the concern is, we have a few people who
Could
they were recruited, they tried to apply, and as they were recruited to, and then when they went into the application, they got to that question and they're out. So we need to reach out to them.
We can do that.
Right.
I'd like to even extend the deadline a little bit to make sure we have plenty of time we can easily reach out to the individual applicants who may, if there were any that said no and they got kicked out and didn't apply, we can reach out to them individually and fix that one question to sort of reflects the same language as on the posting, and then maybe extend it a week or so to, it's like a clear timetable real bad if we did that.
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so, but, yeah.
Well, we don't have a voting item on this right today, but I think if everybody feels up to what's in front of us, we obviously want to facilitate what we can do for folks to be hired. We're pretty badly needed.
We can do that internally in the office and then have a voting item at the next month's meeting.
Okay.
That's acceptable.
Sounds good. Is that okay with everybody? Okay.
And
The question, so during the next month, will you be extending the deadline since it's coming up in March?
I think that, yeah, if you're cool with extending it a week,
That's a Chief Sharp decision.
okay. I think we need to.
Yes.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Chief Sharp, want me to thank you guys for considering this very much.
Thank you. Appreciate the really, proactive, action that you've taken to get ahead of things and be creative and go out to get people to apply for all these groups. That's, I think a lot of what's come to us from KFD and KPD especially is what do we need to do because we have serious understanding.
Well, yeah, I wish it could have been cleaner, but we were in a position where we got the requisition right before the event. We needed a posting for the event, or they would have even applied for it at the event, and we got it done. But we do need to clean up, go back now and clean this up.
Very good, thank you. Okay, item 7 is an update from the selection committee. We already had part of it, we got 81. That reflects some good work, so thank you. Bye, folks.
So, yeah, so I'll steal that part from Nick. So now we have 81 final candidates to go through. So, what we have done with the Civil Service Executive Secretary Search Committee, we were, let's see, in the last month, we had civil service staff who voluntarily wanted to come forward to just talk about, what we're wanting in the new manager, right? So I know that's critical to our committee and making sure we get the right fit. Because, like, I know we have Teresa here, you got to work with somebody every day, right? So, yep. But, so that went really well, and we appreciate everybody's input. And right now, we are excited to be finalizing what that interview process will look like for the committee to go through, and just making those decisions, working with legal to make sure we got all of our ducks in a row with that. And also, so I expect for, gosh, it's already March, timing to get our first interviews in. I mean, April, late April, May, we want to push for. I know we've definitely used Nick. He's been so gracious to stay with us for many months here, so I don't want to have to prolong that anymore, but we definitely want to get the right candidate in here before the board. So,
Do you have any sense of how many interviews you would like to do?
well, I know the logistics of trying to arrange everybody's schedule within the committee too, and there are some options where you can do some pre-screen, like a top 10 submit like a video application. I've spoken with HR about that, just to help narrow it down timing for everybody. We're really looking to have 5 in person that are very serious candidates. So the HR in me just gets nervous saying, oh yeah, we're going to have all this scheduled and ready to go by June or July, hiring somebody in here. So
You'll make all the best efforts.
yeah, exactly. We are. We promise. But no, I'm excited. Things are really rolling forward, and everybody's doing great work with it. So just let me know if y'all need anything from me.
Well, I know we said many times, thanks so much for not only all the effort and time, but the professional knowledge you brought to this. So
I appreciate
very
that
much appreciated.
opportunity.
Very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other business anybody would like to bring before the board today? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion. You're good on it. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, all those in favor of adjourning, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
I might let somebody.